This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to another Performance Gears episode where today I'm going to admit I'm wrong, maybe eat a little bit of humble pie, but I wasn't 100% wrong. Let's jump into this one. Alright, today we are taking a second look at, and this is the shoe that I returned the PG for the Lebron 17. This thing, I had to do multiple changes based on the comments that you guys gave me. So I already tested the Lebron 17, and I tested it, to be fair, in my true size 12 in the Oreo colorway, which was one of the first two launch colorways with the Oreo and the Lakers colorway, and had a solid traction. Again, it was size 12. And there was a lot I didn't like about that shoe. And in fact, I tried on another size 12 Oreo, because you're able to get them pretty cheap now, just recently, just to confirm, like, man, there's a lot of changes going on. I've also tried on the Lakers colorway, and I tried on the red carpet. Now, I'm going to have some footage here kind of going over some of the key differences, but there's three big things you need to keep in mind if you're going to try a Lebron 17, and there's actually some good things about the Lebron 17. I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I'm glad I listened to my subscribers, commenters out there who've had good experiences where I wanted to take into account. I'm always learning, and I always want to do everything by comparison. So it's never a review or an opinion based on I like it and this is me. No, it's how does it feel compared to another shoe and how it can help or reflect in your game. So what are the three changes in the Lebron 17? All right, let's start with number one. So the first thing you take for granted is just the fit. This runs rather narrow, and I had to do a 12.5. 12.5 is a little bit harder to find, but the 12.5 made all the difference in the world as far as having a proper fit, where it just felt more comfortable off the bat. As far as having my foot move more naturally, it felt more comfortable as far as where the cushion is. So you see there's two zoom pods here, and there's a dip. I don't know if you guys can see that. Kind of a flex groove. If your foot is not on the right spot, whether too far forward or too far back, it's not going to feel natural. The size 12 and I got a size 13 both felt off. So having a size 12.5, I felt like the balls of my feet were on the zoom pads. I felt like I had that nice roll off, and some people said they did feel like this, like the Jordan 34, had a little bit of push off, and because of how the airbag ends, kind of right here, I don't know if you guys can see it, and how it kind of transitions. On the size 12, it felt clunky. On the size 13 that I tried on, it just felt firm. But on this, I did feel that push off, which was nice. So the sizing alone, I think, made a big difference in making sure you have proper foot placement on top of it, not to mention obviously having it broken in. Now, I got a size 12, and it actually did break in decently, and normally I wouldn't have gone up a half a size, but if you follow my channel, most shoes I do have to get a 12.5. That's the size that fits me generally just right. It's also one of the reasons I always recommend having a little bit of toe space. I have a video here showing a size 12 in the Lebron 15 and a size 12 in the Lebron 17. This is definitely a half size big. It's a little longer up front, but it gives my toes and my foot plenty of room to splay, as well as I have complete lockdown. My foot's not going anywhere, so having that little extra space didn't do anything negative. So keep that in mind when you're buying your next shoe. Going up a half size can often even change the performance of a shoe as far as how the cushion feels as well as the fit. All right, the second most important thing that was critical was getting a translucent outsole. Now, obviously, this is not a clear outsole. I don't know if you guys can tell there. Let's see if it zooms right. It focuses. This is a translucent. It's harder to tell here, and this colorway, I wasn't sure. Even in photos, it looks like it could be a solid rubber, and I think the pink areas are solid. Maybe I can get some close-ups of that, but the translucent rubber is a little bit softer. The firmer rubbers are the solid. So one, these are probably not going to be as durable, but two, I had no issues with the grip randomly slipping. I played on probably 6 or 7 different courts. Usually I try to play in 5, and this was a really good traction. It wasn't as good as the Lebron 16, but I had no complaints. I actually wore this most comfortably alongside with the Lebron 15 as far as a more equal comparison. And this has as good traction as a 15 and maybe better, but specifically the translucent outsoles. Anyone who commented that they had a good experience with their Lebron 17s was either playing in a red carpet or that future colorway, and it made a big difference because both of those had clear outsoles. So I was very specific in asking people who enjoyed it, what did you like about it? Having that translucent outsole makes a huge difference. Notice I didn't say clear. As long as it's translucent, you see some kind of color, I think you're going to be good. Just trying it on store and touching the rubber, comparing it, these actually have some give to it. I don't know if you can hear it, but the harder rubbers, the solid transit, they didn't move at all, and that definitely could provide slippage, which is I heard multiple times. All right, and finally, and this one is a little bit easier to follow if you're looking at a Lebron 17. Here we are in early 2020, and if you're watching this video in the future, do not get the first 2 colorways. The initial launch colorway with the Lakers colorway, which has that white solid outsole, as well as the Oreo colorway, both solid translucent, so you want to stay from them anyway. Both had different airbag setups. I have some video here and I could tell visually, but just touching it, I wish I would have brought my measure for it, but the air unit is just slightly smaller. It's not as bulbous all around than what we got on the Lebron 17 initial colorways, so that made this a little bit more stable. Now when I say a little bit, I was able to trust it. Okay, when playing defense, doing lateral motions here, I may have some video. It actually held up. I trusted the shoe. Now, 1, I think traction had a big thing to do with it. I knew I wasn't going to slip. 2, just having being able to feel this heel cup here and kind of the outriggers kind of doing their job, and having the air unit not be so flexible. It was so big in the first colorway. I just felt really unstable. This, I was able to play and just play. I mean, I don't want to say enjoy them because I think I did enjoy them for a little bit, and now I'll get that into a second here. But any of the following colorways, anything you're looking at now, the Monstar colorway, the Duke colorway, or the We Are More Than an Athlete, all are going to have better cushion setups where the biggest thing, and again, I tried on Oreo colorway now this is after a few weeks of play. This is after I'm doing this review, and I tried the Oreo colorway on in a size 12. This just has a way better setup as far as being able to feel the cushion on. Now, I'll make credit for 2 things. 1, the 12.5, but 2, just have Nike being able to work on those other colorways versus the initial launch. So getting into the cushion, let's jump in. All right, the cushion that you're feeling on this is mostly Cushlon. This air is on the outside. It's doing a little bit to help with impact protection, but honestly, it's just a really soft, what I'm calling Nike's Cushlon 2.0, where this is definitely giving you a mushy ride. It's not great. There's not a lot of bounce back. It is kind of more traditional, your air unit where it absorbs the impact, but it has a nice kind of marshmallowy feel. So it's not bad. The bounce in the forefoot definitely felt more apparent as it broke in. It felt better than my initial wear test, as well as it felt better than the Oreo colorway I just tried on. But that bounce in the forefoot is nowhere near any other high impact protection cushion in the market, specifically the Jordan 34 that we have behind us. Looking at LeBron 16, LeBron 17, all are going to have a little bit more bounce in the forefoot. Now, LeBron 16 used a much firmer foam setup, so it actually did not ride as cushioned as this until you were running, landing, and you needed it. Then you felt the bounce. This, you feel a nice soft ride, and you do feel a little bit of that bounce. This compares more to LeBron 15. Now, LeBron 15 was still softer, was still bouncier, and overall more comfortable, but honestly, this had a little bit more support. So this was one that I started to enjoy, and I really wanted to play in it more. Now, some of the aspects I personally enjoyed that are specific to this colorway are, and I don't know if they did this on newer colorways, this inside piece, I don't know if you guys can tell here, actually, and you can just see on the outside, there's some hard cardboard or whatever they want to put in here that really dug in on the other colorways. It was a problem that a lot of people noticed. Much softer in this colorway. I don't know if they're doing that going forward, but I did not have that issue. I did not have to double sock. I didn't have to wear higher socks on purpose. So that was a huge thing. 2, just tying the shoe. This didn't have any of those just kind of stupid, really hard colorways where I can unloosen, tighten these, got a better fit, just be able to get to the laces. That's specific to this colorway. Some of the colorways, like the Monster one even coming out, are just kind of annoying to tie. So that's not a negative on the shoe. That's just more of the design and a personal preference thing. So I was able to enjoy this a little bit more. But all that said, where do I rank this? Who's it for? So we're going to do a comparison with all the high-end shoes in the market that you're spending about $200 on. The Kobe AD NXT FF, the Jordan 34, you can look back here, the Kobe 5 Pro Tro, all approaching that $200 price point. And where does this fit in? And I actually didn't even talk about it. I do have my Lebron 10 back here, and it actually felt similar to LeBron 10, guys, and it surprised me how this actually had more support. I felt a little more lateral containment and a little bit better traction. So that spoke, I can speak highly of the LeBron 17. I understand what they were trying to do. Now, I still stand by what I say. The pair that LeBron is wearing, it looks vastly superior. The airbag looks a little more slimmed down. It looks like it has better transition. And I hope Nike is using that kind of tooling to put into the LeBron 18, where you have something a little bit lighter, lower to the ground, better transition, and just a revised version where what this is can really be executed perfectly. The biggest negative on this shoe is it is just heavy. Like, hopefully you see it sinking here. The shoe is tough to enjoy for more, at least for me, right around an hour of play. It was like ankle weights, and you have that push-off effect, but it didn't matter. It was like having a brick that was nice and rounded. It's still a brick. This thing is heavy. Now, that has to do with my conditioning, my strength, and that's a personal thing where it may or may not affect you. If you enjoy wearing heavy shoes, that's fine. But these are heavy. Like, this is something that you feel on your foot. You are high off the ground. There is not a lot of, there's no court feel. I don't want to say not. There's no court feel where you don't feel quick. Now, the difference between this and something like a Jordan 34 that has even more forefoot cushion, is even bouncier, is a Jordan 34 that Eclipse plate is literally pushing you forward. So even though you don't have necessarily court feel, you still feel very fast in it. Don't even get me started how this compares to the Kobe 5 Pro Show. But as far as just having a max cushion setup, just having a very plush ride, LeBron was saying his goal this year, obviously in year 17, is to have a shoe that just allows his body to keep playing, where he doesn't have as many soreness or muscle fatigue. So he wanted something that was really going to absorb the impact of what he puts out there on the court. Now, in practice, he's probably wearing the Soldiers. I don't know if you guys seen that. He's been spotted wearing the LeBron 15s, wearing his Ambassador line, wearing other shoes, because even though this can be a good shoe, and I can definitely see people enjoying it, I understand now, and maybe you will too. If you need something that is a high impact protection, you just had surgery, you just started playing, you're a little bit older, you had knee surgery, the impact protection on this is amazing. Just please follow those 3 things. Don't get the new colorways at the initial launch. Possibly go a half size up, try it on, because where your foot sits makes a big difference, and make sure you get a translucent outsole. But those rules being followed, this is one that I can understand people liking it. There's a lot to enjoy, as well as for a lot of players out there who are trashing it, which I was initially. I understand it too. Like, there is no court feel. There's not that much bounce back as far as having an energy return. It's heavy. You don't have the best containment, but it's much better than it was initially. So for lockdown, playing defense, if you want to play quick, a lot of things on this shoe to not like, but the overall fit, the materials, the generous amount of cushioning, there's plenty to like too, and I think a lot of players can still enjoy this. Although, to be honest, I think I had more people telling me they enjoyed it casually than those who said they used it on court, and that I can absolutely not only respect, but understand. You see a colorway you like, you enjoy the player, they look good, and they're comfortable. Yes, they're $200, but so are Yeezys, and so are a lot of high-end shoes. So you can't knock somebody for just buying what they want and being able to enjoy them. So all in all, I will have that review coming with these bangers in the back as far as what you're getting for $200. Obviously, you probably know where this stacks up. You have a hint of what's going on with the rest of it. But if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below. Now you know what I returned my PG4s for, and I hope to get another PG4 in a different colorway very soon. If you like that video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below. As always, guys, I really appreciate you. Let me know what you're looking to see coming forward. I do have a Chicago All-Star Weekend video that either just dropped or is dropping after this. We'll see, so you guys can experience what happened in Chicago, which was really a lot of things. It was tough to catch. Hopefully in the future, I can be able to go to more of these, be invited to some of these, and just be more involved, which would be just a dream of mine. But guys, girls, I really appreciate you guys, and I'll come at you later.